Welcome back, Scorpio. If you found yourself here today on May 18th, 2025, trust that it's not by chance, but by alignment. Your soul has always had a way of sensing what others overlook. And today, that sensitivity is not a burden, but a compass. You, of all signs, understand that transformation is not something to resist. You were born from the depths, reborn time and again through endings, silence, and the sacred unraveling. But what you may not expect today is the tenderness of it, the way change comes not as a thunderclap, but as a breath, a whisper, a soft returning. As the moon moves through the final degrees of Pisces, the veils are thinner than usual. Your emotions may blur with memories, intuition may rise like a tide, and the lines between past and present, self and other, dream and direction may begin to dissolve. But this isn't confusion, it's revelation. In just a moment, we'll explore what this means for your heart, your purpose, and your next steps, not through force, but through presence. Today isn't about grasping for clarity, it's about receiving it. So breathe deep, Scorpio. Let the noise fall away and listen, because what's about to be revealed might change everything. This is not a day for action, Scorpio. It is a day for revelation, the kind that doesn't arrive with noise or urgency, but with a hush so sacred that only those willing to be still will truly hear it. Today, quiet truths are surfacing from beneath the waters of your consciousness. Not dramatic ones, not thunderous awakenings, but gentle, persistent ripples rising from the deep. You may feel it in a sudden wave of deja vu, a place you've never been that feels uncannily familiar, or in a memory that reappears like smoke, curling into your awareness, not to disturb, but to remind. These moments are not random. A past love may return in thought or in presence, not necessarily to reopen the wound, but perhaps to bring it closure or clarity. A forgotten promise may echo in your chest, asking to be honored again, or you may catch a fleeting glimpse of the person you once were, not with regret, but with reverence. That younger self, still within you, holds a key to the version of you that has always been waiting to rise. So today, let those echoes speak. Don't rush to label them. Don't rush to silence them. They are messengers of your soul's timeline. Meanwhile, the sun, now moving through the final degrees of Taurus, wraps its arms around your energy with a firm but tender grip. It offers grounding, a reminder of what is known, what is stable, what has kept you safe. But it also brings a subtle challenge, a question whispered beneath the surface. Have you clung too tightly to what feels secure? Have you mistaken routine for alignment or comfort for truth? Scorpio, there may be a moment today, subtle yet profound, when something inside you questions what you've been building your life upon. Perhaps it's your work, a long-term relationship, or the version of yourself you've been performing to maintain peace. But now, that quiet tug in your chest is asking, are you choosing what is familiar or what is real? Is the foundation beneath you supporting your soul or simply keeping you still? This isn't a call to destruction, it's a call to discernment. Taurus energy doesn't ask you to leap. It asks you to listen, then choose with care. Let this moment be a sacred pause. Let the questions rise without rushing for answers, because in the stillness of today, Scorpio, the soul speaks. And what it says will shape everything that follows. Financially, Scorpio, today is a day to lean into stillness, not strategy. The cosmos isn't offering clear green lights or urgent red flags. Instead, it invites you into that in-between space where wisdom waits. In this silence between opportunities, there is something precious, the voice of intuition, often drowned out by the noise of urgency. If you're feeling unsure, hesitant, or unmotivated to act, honor that. The lack of clarity isn't failure, it's guidance in disguise. There may be something just beneath the surface, a resource you've forgotten, a connection you've underestimated, or a skill you've taken for granted because it comes so naturally to you. But today, that quiet gift may begin to shimmer again. This isn't about chasing the next big thing or rushing to prove yourself. It's about noticing what's already in your hands. Perhaps it's a creative passion you set aside, a business idea that came in a dream, or simply the realization that your worth isn't tied to constant productivity. The seed of your next chapter may not look grand today. It may look like a whisper. Pay attention to it. There's also a call to examine your relationship with security. Are you spending to soothe something deeper? Are you withholding out of fear rather than discernment? Taurus energy asks you to be deliberate, to build foundations that last. So instead of asking, what can I gain today? Ask, what am I cultivating for the long term? Investments of time, creativity, and emotional clarity will yield more than impulsive decisions now. It is not a day for outward expansion, but for inward calibration. A small shift in how you perceive your value, your time, or your resources could quietly realign your financial path in powerful ways. Let patience become your prosperity. Let listening become your strategy. You don't need to act just yet, Scorpio. You only need to be aware. And in that awareness, something sacred begins to grow. There is a strange and sacred beauty in not knowing, Scorpio. While others may scramble for answers, for certainty, for something to hold on to, you are being invited to surrender. Mercury's current influence doesn't offer sharp logic or quick conclusions. Instead, it wraps your mind in a soft fog, the kind that slows you down just enough to hear what's always been there, beneath the thinking. This isn't confusion, it's initiation. It's the space where intuition awakens, where truth bubbles up. Not from the head, but from the heart, from the gut, from a memory you can't explain, but feel in your bones. If your body asks for rest today, honor it. If your emotions rise unexpectedly, tears from nowhere, nostalgia in the middle of a task, a sudden ache in your chest, don't dismiss them. Your soul remembers what your mind has tried to forget. The hurt that wasn't processed. The hope that was once too tender to hold. Today, those buried truths want your presence, not your fixing. They want to be felt, not solved. And in love, whether it's romantic or the love you offer yourself, vulnerability is no longer a risk. It's a doorway. Someone may be waiting on the other side of that doorway. Someone who isn't perfect, but real. Someone who may not say all the right things, but whose presence feels safe. But you must go first. You must be willing to stand in your truth, soft, unguarded, willing to be seen, not just in your power, but in your rawness. If you're in a relationship, this is not a day for performance. Let go of the armor. Say the thing you've been afraid to say, the fear, the longing, the need for deeper connection, not to provoke, but to invite. Intimacy doesn't begin with perfection. It begins with honesty. If you are healing, let the wound breathe. Don't cover it up today. Let air touch it. Let light reach it. There is no shame in not being over something. Some griefs live with us for years, not as a flaw, but as a mark of having loved deeply. And if you are alone, you are not unloved. The love you seek is not lost. It's orbiting you. It's finding its way, slow but sure, through the fog and the fear and the timelines you thought you missed. It's not returning to the old story. It's arriving in a new form. One that sees you. One that doesn't ask you to shrink. Let today be a day you choose truth over image, softness over armor, and presence over perfection. Because in that choice, Scorpio, something sacred opens and love walks in. Health for you today, Scorpio, is less about the physical and more about the energetic. While the body may whisper, it is the soul that speaks loudest through it. In the tension behind your eyes, the heaviness in your chest, the ache in your spine that lingers even after rest. This is not weakness, it's communication. Your body is translating what your spirit has been carrying quietly for far too long. With the moon brushing against the final waters of Pisces, your emotional field is more porous than usual. You may absorb the energies of others without meaning to, their grief, their tension, their silence. This makes boundaries essential today, not as walls, but as sacred filters. Choose your environments carefully. Choose your company even more carefully. Not everyone deserves access to your inner atmosphere, especially when you are in the midst of a healing cycle. This is a powerful day for somatic awareness, tuning into how your body responds to certain thoughts, memories, and interactions. Notice where you clench, where you contract, and where, when no one is watching, you exhale. Healing is not just in the grand ritual, Scorpio. It's in the way you put your feet on the ground, the way you stretch in the morning, the way you allow your breath to slow without apologizing for your pace. Today favors gentle nourishment over extremes. Soften your routines, eat warm foods, hydrate often, touch the earth, even if just with your palms on a tree or your bare feet in the grass. Your body is not a machine to be optimized. It is a vessel of memory, intuition, and divine intelligence. And today it deserves your gentleness. And if you've been neglecting rest, let this be your permission. The world won't fall apart if you close your eyes. In fact, your world may come into sharper alignment because of it. Scorpio, healing is not something you chase. It is something you allow. So allow it today. Even if just in the smallest of ways, the ripple it creates will be bigger than you imagine. In the realm of relationships today, Scorpio, the universe is inviting you to re-examine the quiet spaces between you and the people you love, not through confrontation, but through awareness. You may notice a subtle shift in dynamics, a tone that feels different, a conversation that lingers longer in your chest, a silence that says more than words. This is not a day for dramatic conclusions, but for reading between the lines, feeling what is unspoken, sensing where connection is deepening and where it may be quietly drifting. Old emotional patterns may surface, especially in family ties or long-standing friendships. Perhaps someone you once leaned on feels distant now, or perhaps you're the one who's pulled away without realizing it. Don't judge it, observe it. Relationships evolve just as we do. And sometimes love doesn't disappear, it just shifts form. It becomes quieter, more spiritual, less about proximity and more about presence. There may also be a reconnection today, either literal or energetic. Someone you haven't spoken to in a while may cross your mind or even reach out. The impulse may be to analyze, why now? What do they want? But the stars suggest this isn't necessarily about resolution. It may simply be about closure or reflection. Some people return so we can see how far we've come. Others return because the thread was never really broken. In newer relationships or those blooming with recent trust, emotional safety is everything. This is not a day to test boundaries, but to build them with care. A small act of honesty, a truth shared without fear of rejection, can open portals of intimacy that months of surface talk could never reach. Don't be afraid to say, this is where I am, this is what I feel. If they can meet you there, you'll know. And if they can't, you'll know that too. All right, Scorpio, your relationships mirror the relationship you have with yourself. So today, as you soften inward, your outer world will begin to respond. You don't need to fix every tension or hold every thread together. You only need to be real and let others rise or fall away in the presence of that truth. Let love today be spacious. Let conversations be gentle. Let silence be sacred. The right people will feel you, even in the quiet. Today, Scorpio, your soul speaks in shades and none more clearly than deep violet. This is not a color of surface beauty, but of depth, mystery, and quiet resurrection. It is the hue of hidden truths rising into awareness, of wounds transmuting into wisdom, and of the veil thinning just enough for your inner sight to sharpen. Wearing or surrounding yourself with violet today may help you reconnect with your intuition, the kind of knowing that doesn't need proof, only permission. Let this color remind you that the answers aren't out there. They're already inside you, waiting to be remembered. Let this be your whispered truth today. Not a mantra to repeat blindly, but to feel in the body, in the breath, in the quiet moments when fear tries to grip your chest. Surrender, in this context, is not weakness. It is spiritual courage. It is a strength to release what is not yours to carry and the faith to trust that what is meant for you will remain. When you stop trying to control every outcome, you make space for the divine to enter. And in that sacred space, true power, the kind rooted in alignment, not force, is born. The signs that offer harmony and depth today are those who move with soul. Pisces and Cancer with their emotional resonance and intuitive hearts, and Capricorn with their grounded presence and silent strength. These are the ones who won't rush your process, who can sit with you in the not knowing, who understand that transformation is not always loud. If you find yourself in conversation with them today, linger. Their energy may offer the grounding or emotional safety you didn't know you needed.